Have you ever noticed how some people behave differently once you're no longer so easily controlled? But what if I told you that when they can't control you, they don't just give up? Instead, they change their approach. They may try to guilt you, spread rumors about you, or twist your statements just to make you doubt yourself. Yes, I'm talking about those secret mind games that are barely noticeable at first. While you think you're just living your life, they're secretly trying to get you back under their control. Stoic wisdom teaches us that true strength lies not in controlling others, but in not being controlled. But let me ask you, are you really free? Or are you still responding to their tricks without knowing it? Maybe it's time to set yourself free for good. Stay tuned to the end, because the last example is the most dangerous. But before we delve deeper, listen to this story that will help you understand the lesson better. Adam's story. Adam was a man who forged his own path. He never let others decide what he should do, and that made some people uncomfortable. At work, his boss couldn't intimidate him. He didn't allow himself to be pressured by friends. He even set boundaries with his family, which some didn't like. He believed this would earn him respect. But something unexpected happened. The people who had once praised Adam began to criticize him. Friends who once admired his confidence called him selfish. Colleagues who relied on him began to spread rumors. Confused and annoyed, Adam decided to seek out an old mentor, Mr. Carter, a wise retired businessman. Adam asked, "Why do people turn against me when I can't be controlled?" Mr. Carter smiled and led Adam into his backyard, where two horses stood, one tied up, the other running free. "Watch carefully," said Mr. Carter. He approached the tied horse, which remained calm and relaxed. But when he approached the free horse, it backed away, alert and cautious. "See?" said Mr. Carter. "People are like that. When they can hold you, they feel safe. But when you're free, they become uneasy because they can't anticipate or control you." Adam looked confused and asked, "So what do they do?" Mr. Carter sighed. "They're not trying to set you free. Instead, they're trying to break you. They call you difficult, selfish, or proud. They denigrate your independence. Not because you're wrong, but because your freedom reminds them of their own limitations." That night, Adam finally understood. People weren't against him because he was bad. They were angry because they couldn't control him. So he stopped explaining himself, stopped asking for permission, and stopped letting guilt guide him. And in that silence, something amazing happened. The people who wanted to control him left. The weak-minded ones disappeared, and the truly strong ones stayed, because true strength respects strength. Before we begin the first lesson, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Here we go. Number 1, they try to manipulate you. When others realize they can't control you directly, they resort to manipulation instead. Some people love being in control. They want to dictate what you do, influence your decisions, and change your behavior to suit their wishes. But when they see that you're independent and don't give in easily, they don't stop. They change their ways. Instead of overtly controlling you, they try to covertly influence you by playing on your emotions to make you feel guilty, pressure you, or make you feel like you owe them something. The truth is, if someone can't overtly control you, they'll try to do it covertly. They try to make you feel guilty. "After everything I've done for you, is this how you treat me?" Or they try to flatter you, saying things like, "You're incredibly good at this. I don't know what I'd do without you." When that doesn't work, they create a sense of urgency or act like a victim, doing everything they can to make you feel responsible for their feelings. This is never about respect. It's about keeping you under their control without making it obvious. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics helps us. Lao Tzu once said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who controls himself is even more powerful." That's the secret, controlling yourself. True power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling your own mind and emotions. Manipulators rely on your emotions, guilt, fear, or doubt, to get what they want. If you see what they're doing and choose not to react, you take away their power. Think of it like a game of chess. Manipulation is a game where, with every move, they try to get you to react. They set traps, hoping you'll panic and fall for them. But what if you stay calm, watch closely, and don't follow their plan? Then they lose. The best way to win isn't to fight back, but to stop playing their game. I remember one case where he always turned everything to his advantage. One day, he asked me for a favor that made me uncomfortable. I politely declined, but instead of accepting it, he sighed and said, "Wow, I thought we were closer." In that moment, I felt a surge of guilt and the need to explain myself. But then I stopped. Instead of defending my decision, I just smiled and said, "I know what you're doing." That one sentence changed everything. Their expression changed, and they knew I had them figured out. They stammered and tried to laugh it off, but I didn't react. That was the last time they tried to manipulate me. And that's the point. Once you recognize manipulation for what it is, it loses its power. So how do you deal with such people? First, recognize their tricks. When someone guilt trips you, pressures you, or makes you feel like you owe them something, pause and ask yourself, is this a genuine request or manipulation? Second, stay calm and collected. The more neutral your response, the less control they have over you. And finally, don't play their game. You don't have to explain yourself, argue, or prove anything. Just say no and let it go. Manipulation only works if you respond to it. Once you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop feeling responsible for other people's feelings, they lose control over you. Control yourself and stay strong. Remember that only you decide your actions. And secondly, they tell untrue stories about you. This is one of the worst tricks people resort to when they can no longer control you. Instead of talking honestly with you, they invent false stories, twist facts, and try to turn others against you. Why do they do this? Because they know they can't deceive you and instead try to damage your reputation. It's not about what's true, it's about maintaining control. The truth is, people who spread lies are usually weak. When they don't have real evidence, they resort to gossip, exaggeration, and made-up stories. They want you to get upset, try to explain yourself, and worry. Because once you do, they win. They draw you into their game. But true strength lies in staying calm and not reacting. Imagine it as if someone were throwing dirt at you. If you try to fight back, you only make yourself worse. But if you stay still, let the mud dry and quietly wipe it away, you stay clean. It's the same with lies. The more you fight them, the more people find out about the mess. But if you stand your ground, the lies lose their power on their own. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius said, "If what people say doesn't bother you, you've already won." Think about it. Silence is a kind of victory. When you stop caring about other people's words, you take away their power. The truth doesn't need anyone to defend it. It speaks for itself. I remember one time when someone deliberately spread lies about me. At first I wanted to defend myself and correct every false story. But then I stopped. Instead of fighting back, I just remained myself and let my actions show the truth. And you know what happened? The lies lost their power. The more I ignored them, the more people learned the truth. And the person who had spread the lies revealed who he really was. Lies don't last long, but the truth lasts forever. So how do you deal with such people? First, don't get involved. If you argue, you give their lies power. Second, let your good character speak for itself. The truth will prove itself over time, without you having to defend yourself. And finally, people who spread lies reveal more about themselves than they do about you. Ultimately, false words have no power if you ignore them. So stay strong, keep quiet, and watch the truth emerge on its own. Those who lie always lose in the end. Number 3 is when people act like victims. This is one of the most insidious ways people try to control you when they can't do it directly. Instead of owning up to their actions, they pretend they've been hurt or wronged and seek sympathy. Why do they do this? Because if they can't control you, they're trying to control other people's perceptions. In truth, playing the victim isn't about fairness or justice. It's about avoiding responsibility. These people twist the facts, make things worse than they are, and act helpless just to get support and attention. The more you try to explain or defend yourself, the more you come across as the bad guy, while they sit back and enjoy the sympathy. Imagine someone is playing a star in a play, pretending to be innocent and making you the villain. If you go along with it and talk back, you become part of their show. But if you don't play along, others will realize what's really going on. People who pretend to be victims want you to react. Don't give them that chance. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics comes in. Epictetus said that a wise person doesn't let others control their feelings. That's the secret. Control your emotions. If you let their behavior bother you, they win. But if you stay calm, distance yourself from their drama, and wait for the truth to come out, you take away their power. I remember someone who always portrayed himself as the victim when problems arose. After he repeatedly crossed my boundaries, I finally spoke up for myself. Instead of apologizing, he acted surprised and claimed I was mean. Suddenly, I was the bad guy. At first, I wanted to defend myself and tell my side of the story, but then I stopped. I let my actions show who I really was. I didn't argue, didn't explain anything, and didn't play along with their game. And you know what? People began to see the truth for themselves. No matter how much someone pretends to be a victim, lies always fall apart, and their true character reveals itself. So how do you deal with such people? First, don't get drawn into arguments. That only makes you look guilty in their story. Second, let their actions show who they really are. The more they lie, the clearer it becomes. And finally, conserve your own energy. You don't have to prove anything. The truth will come out on its own. Ultimately, manipulators use the victim role as a weapon, but only if you give them an audience. It's best to stay calm, quiet, and let the real story come out, because in the end, the truth will outlast any staged performance. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more lessons like this. Number 4 is when people try to isolate you from others. This is one of the most subtle tricks when someone can't control you openly. Instead of confronting you, they secretly operate behind your back, sowing doubt, fabricating stories, and turning friends, colleagues, or even family members against you. Why do they do this? Because they fear your independence. If you have good relationships and support, they can't control you, so their goal is simple: to ostracize you and make you feel alone. In truth, trying to isolate someone shows weakness. People who need to control others can't stand it when you think for yourself. So they spread rumors, provoke arguments, and secretly influence those around them. They want you to question who you can trust, doubt your worth, and rely on them instead. The lonelier you feel, the easier it is to control you. It's like a wolf in the wild. Wolves isolate their prey from the group before attacking because it's easier to catch someone alone. Manipulators do the same. They won't bother you if you're surrounded by strong friends. Instead, they sow strife and misunderstanding to pull you away from those who support you. But once you see what they do, you can be wiser than they are. The wisdom of the Stoics helps with this. Seneca once said, "Spend time only with those who make you better. Stay away from those who bring you down." That's the secret. Be with people who make you stronger, not those who pick fights and try to control you. True friends will understand the truth over time. Those who turn against you should never stay. I once met someone who slowly tried to turn others against me. It started with small, quiet remarks like, "I'm not sure you can trust them." Then came the lies and twisting of my words. At first, I was annoyed and wanted to lash out, but then I realized the more I reacted, the more power I gave that person. So instead, I focused on building my true friendships. I continually showed who I really am through my actions. And you know what? Over time, people began to recognize the truth on their own. Those who cared stayed close. Those who believed the lies were never really my friends. So how should you deal with such people? First, stay calm. The more strongly you react, the more energy you give them. Second, nurture your true friendships. The people who really know you won't be fooled for long. And finally, don't try to keep those who turn away from you. If someone easily turns on you, it's okay to let them go. Ultimately, those who fear your independence will try to separate you from others, but they can't break someone who stands firm. Stay strong, stay close to the people you care about, and remember that true friendships don't just fall apart because of other people's lies. Number 5 is when they try to undermine your confidence. This is a sneaky but dangerous trick people use when they can't directly control you. They don't overtly attack you. Instead, they sow seeds of doubt. They make you second-guess your decisions, doubt yourself, and secretly try to make you feel less capable. Why? Because by making you insecure, they can regain control over you. The truth is, people who question your confidence aren't trying to help you or give you useful advice. They're testing how much you believe in yourself. They want you to hesitate, seek the approval of others, and be uncertain about your decisions, because the more insecure you are, the easier you are to influence. Imagine walking across a bridge that looks stable, but someone next to you keeps asking, "Are you sure the bridge can support you? What if it collapses?" At first you feel confident, but the more the other person talks, the more you begin to doubt the bridge, not because it's weak, but because they've unsettled you. This is exactly how confidence works. Their thinking is solid, but manipulators deliberately shake it. The key is to recognize what they're doing and move on. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus said, "A person's worth is not determined by the opinions of others." True confidence doesn't come from others agreeing with you. It comes from trusting yourself. When you no longer need the approval of others and stand by your decisions, you become unshakable. I remember someone who constantly questioned my decisions. Every time I decided on something, they would say, "Are you sure? That sounds risky." At first I tried to explain and prove I was right, but then I realized they weren't asking because they knew better. They just wanted me to doubt myself. So one day I stopped explaining. I simply said, "Yes, I'm sure." No more arguments, no more reasons. And you know what? They had nothing more to say. Confidence doesn't need arguments. It's simply strength. So how do you deal with people like that? First, believe in yourself. If your decision is sound and based on experience, don't let other people's doubts shake you. Second, stop over-explaining. The more you try to defend yourself, the more they try to shake your confidence. And finally, remember that doubt is their tool, not your truth. Just because someone questions you doesn't mean you're wrong. But there's a catch. If you've been trying to break free from conformity and ignorance for a long time and haven't succeeded, there may be other reasons, and you don't know what the cause is. But I know what it is. Fear. Fear comes like a silent snake and poisons you without you noticing. It infects you for days, months, and even years. And when you suffer from it, it's as if you're living sick. However, there is a Stoic antidote that, along with modern psychology, can free you from all of this, just as it freed me. I made a video showing how to rid your life of this poison. It's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and heal yourself of this fear poison. Ultimately, your confidence is your greatest strength. Others may try to challenge, test, and undermine it, but only if you let them. Stay strong, believe in yourself, and never let other people's doubts become your own. Number 6 is when they deliberately try to upset you. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. When someone realizes they can't control you with facts or underhanded tricks, they try to provoke you. They say things meant to annoy, offend, or anger you. They don't care about the argument. They just want you to lose control. As soon as you react with strong emotions, they've won. In truth, they want to make you angry so they can pretend they're better or right. They say things to mock you, belittle you, or twist your words just to get a reaction. As soon as you lose your temper, they say, "See, I told you they were unreasonable." And suddenly you're the bad guy while they act like the victim. Imagine your emotions are like fire and they are the wind. The more violently you react, the bigger the fire gets. But if you don't add fuel, it will go out. That's why calm is your most powerful tool. If they can't make you explode, they have nothing left to hold against you. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The secret is not to react the way they want you to. If you stay calm while they try to anger you, you take away their power. You retain control, and they leave in frustration instead of winning. I remember a time when someone tried to pick a fight with me. He said mean things, exaggerated the truth, and even brought up old mistakes just to make me angry. I felt the anger rising within me, but instead of reacting, I smiled and said, "Interesting point." That's all. No explanations, no defenses. And you know what? They froze. They didn't know what to do because they expected a reaction from me. That's when I understood that calmness isn't weakness, but real strength. So how do you deal with people like that? First, know the game. If someone is deliberately trying to make you angry, pause and ask yourself if they want a serious conversation or are just expecting a reaction from you. Second, control your reaction. If you get upset, take a deep breath before speaking up. Finally, avoid arguments that mean nothing. Not every argument is worth your energy, and sometimes it's best not to get involved to win. Ultimately, your feelings belong to you. If someone tries to make you angry, stay calm, keep your distance, and let the person vent their anger. Ultimately, the strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't let others control them. If you watch this video to the end, please leave a comment saying thank God and like it if you enjoyed it. Your support means a lot to me and encourages me to keep making interesting videos. I hope these videos inspire you and we continue to learn together. Thank you for being here and supporting me. Now for number 7, they start copying you. This tactic can be both annoying and enlightening. At first it may seem like a mere coincidence. You try something new and they do something very similar. You share a new idea and suddenly they act like they thought of it first. Then you realize they're no longer trying to compete with you, they're copying you. The truth is, if they can't beat you, they'll try to become like you. Instead of forging their own path, they follow yours, hoping to emulate your success without even trying. But that's the point. No matter how much they copy, they'll always be one step behind. Copying may fool some people for a while, but it can never replace originality. Think of it like shadows and the sun. A shadow only moves when the light moves, but it can never shine on its own. That's what copying is, a lifeless copy of something real. No matter how hard they try to act like you, they can never replace the special qualities that make you who you are. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics helps. Seneca once said, "Character, not imitation, defines a person." Your true value lies not only in what you do, but in who you are. Someone can copy your words, your style, even your ideas, but never your spirit, your experiences, or the real you. I remember someone who copied almost everything I did. Every time I made progress, they followed the same steps. Whenever I took on a new challenge, they suddenly wanted to do the same. At first, this made me angry. I felt like they were stealing my work. But then I understood something important. The more they copied, the more I realized they had no ideas of their own. One day I changed everything and tried a new approach. And you know what? They didn't know what to do next. Because if you constantly copy, you're never a leader. That's when I learned, copying only shows you're ahead. So how should you deal with such people? First, don't waste time worrying about them. The mere fact of copying means they're already behind. Second, keep growing and changing. The more you improve, the harder it will be for them to catch up. And finally, remember, copying is not a compliment. When someone copies you, it shows that they feel insecure. They imitate because they lack the courage to be original. Copies eventually disappear, but being yourself remains forever. Stay bright, stay ahead, and let the copiers struggle to catch up, because no one can replace what makes you special. And now number 8, they're waiting for you to fail. Here's a hard truth. Some people aren't really supporting you, they're just pretending. They smile at you, share your goals, and say things like, "I'm happy for you," but inside they're waiting, not for you to succeed, but for you to fall. Your success makes them uncomfortable, and if they can't beat you, they want to see you lose. The truth is, some people aren't really rooting for you. They're just chasing you. They're not rooting for you because they believe in you. They're rooting for you because they want to see you stumble. And when it does happen to you, they'll be the first to say, "I knew it." But here's the secret. They overlook the fact that true success doesn't depend on their approval. Think of it like a storm and a tree. A weak tree bends and breaks in strong winds, but a tree with deep roots stands tall, no matter how hard the storm blows. The people who hope for your failure are like the wind. They make noise and push against you, but they can't break you unless you let them. The stronger you are inside, the less their words matter. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics comes in. Epictetus said, "Don't waste your energy on those who want to see you fail. Focus on growing and improving, not on proving them wrong. Success isn't about showing them what you're doing, it's about becoming your best self." I once had someone who pretended to support me, but kept expressing little doubts. "Are you sure this will work?" Or, "I hope you can do it, but we'll see." At first I ignored it, but over time, I realized they weren't really behind me. They were just waiting for me to mess up. Whenever I was going through a tough time, they'd quickly say, "See, I told you it would be tough." That's when I understood. They'd never really believed in me. They were waiting for their doubts to be proven right. So I stopped explaining myself, stopped seeking their approval, and focused on my own path. The result? I succeeded, and their silence was louder than all their fake support. So how do you deal with such people? First, pay attention to the signs. If someone only shows up when you're struggling and disappears when you succeed, that's a clue. Second, don't waste your energy trying to prove yourself to them. Your success is for you, not them. And finally, let your success be your answer. Keep moving forward and growing, because nothing bothers them more than seeing you rise when they expected you to fall. Some people watch your failure as if it were a show. Don't give them that satisfaction. Keep going. Shine bright.